when I think about, and I often do, think about the people that came into the office, first of all, number one, Oliver was the only director of his caliber. For some reason, he doesn't like me to say this. I don't know why, because he said, well, I don't want people to think of me, blah, blah. But he was, I don't mind, it's my reality, my truth. He was the only director of his caliber who was making real life stories, historical stories, things that are based on truth. Now everybody's doing it. But back then, nobody was doing it. I promise you, Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg, Jonathan, all the directors that have since emerged that are all taking on. I remember it was like a big shock when Jonathan Demme made Philadelphia, or Steven made, what was his first movie that was history?
It wasn't Schindler's List, right?
Maybe, I think it was Schindler's List. Then all these other directors, and I'm not saying they were copying Oliver, but the whole zeitgeist at the time was, no, you don't. In fact, it was relegated to television. Like if you were making a real life story, then it was based on television, which is ridiculous, right? But he was the only director. But it was also a special time. He was making films that were with movie stars. There were studio films. It was a moment in time when studios would make these movies. As long as you had a star, they'd give you pretty good money. And also Oliver had achieved, final cut status. So what I often think about is that JFK, for instance, is a subject matter that's so sacred to American history. But normally those subjects go through layers and layers of editorial overview. Like, if you're publishing something, or if you're making a documentary of your television, everybody's going through with fine-tooth comb. In fiction film or narrative film, because he had final cut, he got the money, he got Kevin Costner, he got stars. He didn't have anyone who was interfering with his creative process. And I think people were very shocked by that. They didn't like that he had that power to get people in a big dark space and just be able to express his own historical views about, again, such a sacred subject matter. And I think people were really shocked by that, but that he earned it by getting final cut. And then I thought, at least in that period of time, films are a great vehicle really for shaping minds, because you don't have to go through, there's economic controls, but not creative ones.